In February 1945, Manila, once hailed as the Pearl of the Orient, was reduced to smoldering ruins. What began as a military campaign quickly descended into a month-long nightmare. A battle unlike any other in the Pacific theater of World War II. The Japanese Imperial Army had lost control of the Philippines. General Douglas MacArthur, fulfilling his famous promise, "I shall return," landed in late and began a bold campaign to liberate the islands. Manila, the capital, was the jewel in that mission. But the defense of Manila wasn't supposed to happen. General Tomoyuki Yamashita had ordered Japanese forces to withdraw and spare the city. Yet Rear Admiral Sanji Iwabuchi defied him, refusing to retreat, choosing instead to die fighting. Iwabuchi and his 17,000 men barricaded themselves in the heart of Manila, transforming it into a death trap. They fortified buildings, planted mines, and created kill zones in neighborhoods filled with civilians. On February 3, 1945, American forces from the 1st Cavalry Division breached the city's northern limits. They moved fast, liberating the Santo Tomas internment camp and freeing over 4,000 prisoners. But the celebration was short-lived. As the Americans pushed deeper into the city, they encountered fierce resistance. Japanese Marines turned every street, building, and sewer tunnel into a battlefield. Urban warfare began close quarters, brutal, unforgiving. Tanks couldn't maneuver in narrow streets. Artillery risked civilian casualties. But the Japanese made no distinction. They set fire to homes, schools, and hospitals. Women and children were bayoneted, executed, burned alive. Filipino guerrillas joined the fight, risking everything to aid the Allied troops. They guided American forces through the city's twisted alleyways, and some took up arms, engaging in savage firefights alongside US soldiers. The battle grew uglier by the day. American troops had no choice but to resort to flamethrowers and grenades to flush out entrenched enemies. Building after building was reduced to rubble, each wall a potential ambush. In the Ermita district, civilians huddled in churches, hoping for mercy. But mercy never came. Japanese troops slaughtered entire families. Survivors described scenes of unimaginable horror. Heads severed, infants thrown into fires, pregnant women mutilated. The Americans, enraged by the massacres, intensified their assault. Heavy artillery shelled strong points relentlessly. Airstrikes flattened districts where Japanese forces held out. The city itself was dying every bombardment, erasing its colonial beauty. Despite the destruction, the Japanese fought on with suicidal resolve. They used civilians as human shields. Snipers lurked in bell towers. Machine guns rattled from behind altar pews. Manila became a city of ghosts and gunfire. For 29 days, the battle raged. Blood stained the cobblestones. Smoke choked the air. Fires consumed everything. Over 100,000 civilians were killed not just by war, but by atrocity. The Red Cross attempted rescues, but even hospitals became targets. San Juan de Dios Hospital was shelled. Refugees drowned in the Pasig River as they tried to flee. The Japanese committed one war crime after another. Filipino photographer Edu Dumasfer documented the aftermath: corpses lining streets, churches burned to blackened skeletons. His photos, rarely seen today, are haunting reminders of what Manila endured. Finally, on March 3, 1945, the city fell. Rear Admiral Iwabuchi committed ritual suicide rather than surrender. His men died with him, either fighting or by their own hands. The resistance was annihilated, but so was the city. Manila was declared liberated. But what was left to liberate? Over 80% of the city was destroyed. The once proud capital was now the second most devastated Allied city of World War II, behind only Warsaw. The physical wounds could be rebuilt, but the emotional scars ran deep. Survivors carried the trauma for generations. The city's beauty was gone, its history buried in ash, its soul shattered by shell and flame. Yet, from this tragedy rose a testament to Filipino resilience. Manila was rebuilt not the same, not as grand, but as a living city that remembers. Each monument, each mass grave, tells a story that must never be forgotten. The Battle of Manila was not just a clash of armies, it was a tragedy of civilians caught in a storm of fire and steel. And so, we remember not to glorify war, but to mourn what was lost. This is Histique, and this was the Inferno of Manila.